One day the world came to an abrupt end. Everything collapsed. Buildings crumbled to dust. People began perishing one after another. Then a pandemic swept across the globe. Initially, shock gripped everyone. The stock market plummeted. Global panic spread like wildfire. The news circulated everywhere. This was the end of the world. Wars erupted. Nations turned on one another. Economies disintegrated. Food shortages ravaged the population. Amid this scarcity, chaos intensified. Even a small pack of noodles sold for millions of won. People flooded the streets. They pleaded. They protested. It was a catastrophe on an unimaginable scale. But humanity wasn't the cause. Suddenly, fantasy monsters appeared on Earth. And that marked the end of humanity.
But before we dive into the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really helps us keep bringing you more content like this. Already subscribed? Alright, let's get into the video!
Just like a storybook, as soon as the monsters arrived, humans began developing extraordinary abilities. They became metahumans. System notifications started appearing, offering tools to combat these creatures. At first glance, it seemed like a familiar setup. But here's the twist. Despite these new powers, the creatures were on nightmare difficulty. The so-called metahuman abilities were practically useless. The monsters obliterated humans as if they were nothing. Within 3 days, the Earth was nearly wiped out. Then the perspective shifts. The camera focuses on a tall, pristine building, standing amidst a wasteland of ruins. Every structure around it lies in rubble. Only this building remains untouched, without even a scratch. Inside we find our protagonist, Seo Jun. The scene transitions to Seo Jun relaxing in his cluttered apartment, nonchalantly eating chips straight from the bag. He looks disheveled, thin, dressed in a stained white t-shirt. As he munches on chips and sips a nearly empty soda, he sighs, narrating, "The world's practically destroyed, yet here I am relaxing as if nothing happened." The room is shown in detail. Ramen packets litter the floor, crumpled tissues pile up, and trash bags are stacked in corners, overflowing with food waste. The place is utter chaos. Seo Jun continues, his tone tinged with melancholy. "In this 100 square meter apartment, I'm alone. My parents, grandparents, they're all outside." Seo Jun's backstory unfolds. His father had bought this apartment, investing 200 million won from the bank, and another 200 million from his savings. The plan was for someone to live here for 2 years, to gain tax benefits for owning property in this luxury complex. That's how Seo Jun, despite not being wealthy, ended up here. But now, with the sudden apocalypse, he's trapped in this building. Does Seo Jun mind? Not in the slightest. Seo Jun is a true shut-in. His only real gripe? The lack of internet. He exclaims, "This is hell. The apocalypse outside is bad enough. But no internet? That's a real nightmare." Staring at his lifeless phone, Seo Jun wonders, "What am I supposed to do now? No internet? How am I going to survive this?" Suddenly he freezes. A piercing scream echoes from outside. Startled, Seo Jun creeps to the window and peeks out. A massive creature with horrifying wings is flying straight toward his apartment. Seo Jun's eyes widen in terror. The monster crashes into the window with a deafening thud, stopping just outside. It's hideous. Its slimy, tentacle-like mouth spawns 3 additional jaws, each filled with sharp, gleaming teeth. The sight is revolting. Seo Jun braces himself, thinking he's about to be devoured. But then the creature fails to breach the glass. It slams into an invisible barrier repeatedly, unable to enter. A system notification materializes. A subject not authorized to enter has attempted to breach the room. Entry denied by the system. Seo Jun stares at the notification in disbelief. Confusion replaces fear. What was this system? Why was it protecting him? Moments later, a shimmering blue barrier envelopes the window. Seo Jun tries opening his apartment door, only to find it sealed shut. After futile attempts to force it open, he gives up, frustrated. Gazing out the window, he narrates that this is the 3rd day of the apocalypse. The ability that's keeping him safe has also locked him in. As the grim reality sinks in, Seo Jun sits in his darkened room, watching the world fall apart. 3 days in, he's out of light, and his food supplies are dangerously low. Within days, he'll have nothing left. Even the doors inside his apartment are locked. Forced to use plastic bags for basic needs, Seo Jun realizes his so-called ultimate shut-in house ability has not only protected him from external threats, but also turned his home into a prison. Seo Jun yelled in frustration. Because of this ridiculous ability, I'm stuck here. I can't do anything. Maybe I'll end up starving to death in this house all alone. With his head in his hands, he muttered bitterly. Although he was safe, his real problem was food. His supplies were nearly depleted. The fridge had stopped working due to the power outage, and what little food remained was starting to spoil. All Seo Jun had left were a few packets of instant noodles. As desperation clawed at him, he chewed on his nails, completely at a loss for what to do next. Out of the blue, a system notification appeared. Seo Jun has hunted a level 23 Calican. You have gained significant experience points, and your skills have leveled up. Seo Jun froze, staring in disbelief. His eyes widened as he thought, how did I hunt something? I haven't even stepped out of this room. Confused, he scanned the system message, trying to understand what had just happened. Then it hit him. Jumping to his feet, Seo Jun rushed to the balcony and peered down. His jaw dropped. The massive, grotesque creature that had smashed into his window earlier was now lying dead on the ground below. Its enormous body was surrounded by armed goblins. Seo Jun blinked in disbelief. Did I somehow hunt that thing just because it crashed into my window? As the pieces fell into place, another system notification popped up. You have obtained a new skill. Nearby loot has met the conditions. Calculating. Before Seo Jun could process this, the goblins below started acting strangely. Some screamed loudly, their cries piercing the air. Others clutched their heads in agony, while a few violently tore apart the creature's corpse with their claws. Seo Jun watched, baffled. The chaos below made no sense to him. Then the system interrupted. Loot calculation complete. Seo Jun has received 2.2 million won, equivalent to $1,500. Funds have been deposited into the ultimate shut-in wallet. Seo Jun stared at the notification, dumbfounded. He had never seen so much money at once. Before he could recover from the shock, his room's lights flickered back on. Electricity had been restored. Seo Jun's confusion gave way to joy as he realized everything was working again. A system update appeared. The ultimate shut-in system has been upgraded. New passive skill unlocked. House Declaration Level 3. Overwhelmed with happiness, Seo Jun clenched his fists and ran to the fridge. He threw the door open to find it running perfectly. He rushed to the kitchen, turned on the faucet, and water flowed freely. Even the induction cooktop worked when he tested it. Seo Jun dropped to his knees, tears streaming down his face. Everything's back, he whispered. Just like before. He had genuinely believed he would die alone in this apartment. But now fate had given him another chance. As his relief subsided, a new thought struck him. Seo Jun glanced at his phone with a flicker of hope. Could the internet be back too? But his hope was short-lived. The phone still displayed no internet. Groaning in despair, Seo Jun grabbed his head and sat on the floor, defeated. His hand accidentally brushed against something near the garbage bin. Looking down, Seo Jun saw a pen drive. Curious, he picked it up and plugged it into his computer. As the files loaded, old family photos appeared. One showed his mother feeding him as a baby. Another captured a younger Seo Jun holding his mother's hand on his first day of kindergarten. More photos followed, his teenage self smiling with his parents, and one of Seo Jun, age 20, proudly posing with his joyful mom and dad. Seo Jun stared at the pictures, anger bubbling inside him. Gritting his teeth, he muttered with determination. I need to bring my family here. No matter what, I'll get out of this house and save them. Resolute, Seo Jun stood and stepped out onto the balcony, his mind racing for a way to escape. He checked his abilities, hoping for a clue. That's when he noticed something new. Ultimate Shut-in Store Level 1. The system explained that Seo Jun could purchase any item he listed at its original market price. Puzzled, Seo Jun tried to grasp how the store functioned. The system prompted him to make his first purchase, displaying his 2.2 million won balance. The notification blinked persistently. List your first item. Purchase available at original price. Seo Jun hesitated but eventually clicked the icon. Two more messages appeared. Ultimate Shut-in Wallet. Max level. Current balance. 2.2 million won. The system repeated its question. Would you like to list your first item? After gazing at the notification for a while, Seo Jun realizes that the money he earned from defeating the flying beast is now securely stored in his wallet. He exhales deeply, reflecting on the situation. Lost in thought, Seo Jun wanders to his window, Cautiously, he opens it and steps onto the balcony, wondering if this might finally be his chance to leave the room. But just as a glimmer of hope crosses his mind, the system interrupts with a chilling message. The ultimate shut-in cannot leave the house. A wave of disappointment crashes over Seo-jun. He had dared to believe that leveling up might grant him freedom, but now his hopes are shattered. Clenching his fists tightly, Seo-jun confronts the harsh truth. Yet, amidst the despair, a spark of determination ignites within him. He resolves that by continuing to kill monsters and level up, he might eventually unlock a skill that allows him to break free of the barrier. The thought of gaining the power to escape bolsters his resolve, but a troubling question lingers in his mind. If I can't leave the room, how can I kill more monsters? Pacing back and forth, Seo-jun realizes that the flying beast crashing into his window was a rare stroke of luck, unlikely to happen again. He must find a way to kill monsters without ever leaving his room. Minutes pass as Seo-jun racks his brain. Then he notices something unusual. Down below, the goblins are busy hacking pieces of meat from the fallen flying beast. Studying them closely, Seo-jun observes that they don't seem too strong. A thought crosses his mind, perhaps he can take them down. Without wasting time, Seo-jun rushes inside. He grabs a water bottle, holds it firmly, and hurls it off the balcony with all his strength. The bottle flies through the air, crossing the barrier effortlessly before landing far below. Seo-jun's eyes light up with excitement. He realizes something crucial. Although I can't leave the room, anything I throw can pass through the barrier freely. This discovery fuels Seo-jun's determination. He quickly devises a plan. He will hurl heavy objects at the goblins, using their weight to crush them and gain experience points. Seo-jun scours his apartment for suitable weapons. After searching every corner, he stumbles upon a 5-kilogram dumbbell. It had been gathering dust since he bought it years ago. Gripping the dumbbell, Seo-jun feels a surge of confidence. But as he steps onto the balcony and looks down, his confidence wavers. The goblins, now carrying large chunks of the flying beast's meat, are starting to leave the area. Panic sets in. If they leave, how will I level up? Desperate, Seo-jun hurls the dumbbell with all his might. It sails through the air, heading straight for the goblins. But to his dismay, the dumbbell misses its mark, landing on the meat instead of the goblins. The loud thud startles the goblins, causing them to shriek and scatter in confusion. Frustration boils inside Seo-jun. He has only one dumbbell left, and the odds of success feel slimmer than ever. Frozen in place, Seo-jun clutches the remaining dumbbell. Doubt floods his mind. What if I miss again? Without any other weapons in his home, Seo-jun realizes his options are limited. Suddenly, a loud commotion erupts outside. Seo-jun peers over the balcony, only to see hundreds of goblins swarming toward his building. At their center stands their leader, a goblin with a bizarre crest of hair resembling a chicken's beak. The leader, flaunting six-pack abs, holds Seo-jun's dumbbell and points directly at him, shouting in a strange, aggressive language. Behind him, the goblins roar and shake their fists at Seo-jun. A chill runs down his spine. But then an unexpected thought crosses his mind. This isn't terrifying, it's an opportunity. The goblins, who had been leaving earlier, are now gathering in greater numbers around his building. Seo-jun realizes this might be his chance to earn massive experience points, if only he can act fast. With a new plan forming, Seo-jun opens the system notification. Activating the ultimate shut-in store, he clicks on the list item icon. The system asks if he wants to list his first item. Seo-jun hesitates, unsure if this gamble will pay off. Slowly, he picks up his final dumbbell, weighing his options carefully. Seo-jun knows that throwing this last dumbbell might not take out many goblins, and worse, a single misstep in his aim could result in a total failure. Still, something deep within him whispers that the store might hold the solution he needs. Without hesitation, Seo-jun issues a command to place the dumbbell into the ultimate shut-in store. A holographic light flashes over his hand, scanning the dumbbell intently. For a moment, panic seizes Seo-jun. What if the system takes the dumbbell away entirely? But as the light fades, he realizes the dumbbell is still in his hand. The system had only scanned it. A notification appears, confirming that his classic, non-slip 3-kilogram dumbbell has been successfully listed in the ultimate shut-in store. Checking the store interface, Seo-jun sees the dumbbell displayed, priced at 16,991 won, the exact amount he had originally paid for it. Seo-jun is stunned. This revelation means that anything he lists in the store can be purchased at its original market value. This discovery changes everything. Seo-jun has enough funds. He can now buy an unlimited supply of items. To test the theory, he commands the system to create 2 more dumbbells. As soon as he confirms the order, a brilliant white light emerges from the store. Right before his eyes, 2 identical dumbbells materialize, seemingly 3D printed in midair. Seo-jun's face lights up with joy, his eyes sparkling with newfound hope. The fear of running out of weapons is gone. Wasting no time, Seo-jun carefully aims and hurls one of the dumbbells toward the goblins. This time the circumstances are favorable. The goblins are clustered together near his building. The dumbbell descends swiftly, hitting one goblin square on the head. Crack! The goblin's skull shatters, blood spraying everywhere, and the creature collapses lifeless to the ground. A system notification instantly confirms that Seo-jun has slain a level 7 goblin, earning 3,345 won, which is deposited directly into his ultimate shut-in wallet. Excitement courses through Seo-jun's veins. His plan is finally working, and leveling up feels more attainable than ever. However, Seo-jun quickly notices a flaw. Each dumbbell costs 16,991 won, while he only earns 3,345 won per goblin kill. This is a terrible trade, Seo-jun mutters to himself. Still, despite the financial loss, he feels a small sense of pride. He managed to kill a goblin without stepping outside. Meanwhile, chaos erupts among the goblins. They gather around the fallen body, shouting and gesturing in confusion. Their rage boils over as they glare toward the balcony. Suddenly, another dumbbell comes soaring down, but this time the goblins are prepared. They dodge the attack with ease, their expressions filled with disdain. Seo-jun clenches his fists in frustration, his irritation growing. Determined to succeed, he orders more dumbbells from the ultimate shut-in store. Even though each dumbbell costs him dearly, he knows leveling up is his true priority. The thought of using larger objects, like his fridge or TV, crosses his mind, but he quickly dismisses it. Those items are too bulky and slow. The goblins would easily evade them. Armed with a growing stockpile of dumbbells, Seo-jun launches them in rapid succession. One by one, the weights strike their targets, killing goblins instantly. The system floods him with notifications of successful kills, including level 7, 8, and even level 10 goblins. As the kills pile up, Seo-jun's experience bar fills. Finally, the system announces that he has leveled up. With the level increase, he gains a new skill, the ultimate shut-in storage system, level 1. Curious, Seo-jun activates the skill. Before him, a holographic interface resembling a house appears. Testing its functionality, Seo-jun stores several dumbbells. Bright light envelopes each one, and they vanish into the system. Checking the storage interface, Seo-jun confirms the dumbbells are safely stored. Excitedly, he summons one, watching as it materializes in his hand. Realizing he can summon items instantly anywhere, Seo-jun's grin grows wider. With a psychotic gleam in his eye, he grips the dumbbell tightly, ready to unleash chaos on the goblins below. His mind is already brewing a cunning plan. Time moves on, and soon an intense blue glow radiates from Seo-jun's room. He has purchased hundreds of dumbbells and stored them in his ultimate shut-in storage system. Standing on his balcony, Seo-jun stretches out his hand. Closing his eyes, he envisions all the dumbbells safely tucked away in his system. With a single command, Seo-jun summons them. Like a torrential downpour, hundreds of dumbbells rain from the sky, crashing down upon the goblins below. The goblins are overwhelmed, unable to escape. The relentless barrage of weights falling all at once. One after another, the goblins are crushed, their blood splattering as the dumbbells strike with deadly precision. The system continuously notifies Seo-jun of his kills and the earnings piling up. After 3 or 4 minutes, the carnage ends. Every goblin lies lifeless, and the system announces that Seo-jun has earned 56,661 won, deposited directly into his ultimate shut-in wallet. The system then prompts Seo-jun, asking if he wants to list more items in his ultimate shut-in store. Seeing this, Seo-jun's eyes gleam with fresh excitement. Seo-jun realizes his new storage ability changes the game. With this skill, he can endlessly summon items, throw them and summon them again. It's no longer just combat, it's an unstoppable cycle. Shortly after, we see Seo-jun has listed numerous items in his ultimate shut-in store. Classic non-slip dumbbells priced at 16,991 won. Ramen, bottled water, rice, premium eggs, easy-to-digest milk, yogurt, canola oil, and even half-used tomato ketchup. All are carefully priced, and Seo Jun's account still holds a hefty 2.1 million won. Seo Jun should have spent much more, but after annihilating the goblins, he sold the remaining dumbbells. This earned him a 90% return on investment, allowing him to profit despite the losses. With 1,001 won spent per goblin kill, Seo Jun still managed to gain 2,001 won in profit per goblin. Having listed all the groceries in his home, Seo Jun effectively gains access to infinite resources. However, he soon notices something peculiar. His money begins to dwindle, decreasing by 1 won at a time. At first, his balance was 2,100,078 won, but now it's 2,100,077 won. Every minute, another one vanishes. Confused, Seo Jun begins analyzing the situation. It's not due to the dumbbells, nor does it relate to listing items in the store. Those costs would have been deducted earlier. After some thought, Seo Jun identifies the culprit: his dignity preservation skill. This passive ability ensures his home stays functional, maintaining electricity, water, and other essentials. To keep these running, the system deducts small amounts from Seo Jun's ultimate shut-in wallet. Glancing at his fridge, Seo Jun realizes that the electricity powering it is slowly draining his funds. Annoyed, he acknowledges that while he's wealthy now, this constant expense means he'll need a steady income source. After raining dumbbells down on the goblins earlier, almost all of them were wiped out. The few survivors fled, and goblins further away no longer dared approach Seo Jun's building. 3 or 4 hours pass, and in that time Seo Jun only manages to hunt 1 or 2 goblins. Looking outside, he sees none in sight. Frustration bubbles within Seo Jun. If goblins stop coming, how will he level up? Without leveling up, he won't progress or gain the ability to leave his house. Irritated, Seo Jun wrestles with his predicament. Just then he notices something. Looking down from his balcony, he spots a massive, slimy, crow-like flying beast. Its grotesque head remains intact, though goblins had harvested parts of its body earlier. Seo Jun freezes, staring at the creature. The goblins are gone for now, but Seo Jun knows he needs a new strategy, something to help him advance. The beast, with its disgusting appearance, drifts closer to Seo Jun's building. Its slimy form moves unnervingly, and as it nears, the details become clearer. Tentacle-like teeth fill its gaping mouth, writhing and twisting endlessly. The creature doesn't seem aggressive. It appears to be passing by. Still, the sight of it sends shivers down Seo Jun's spine. Without wasting another moment, Seo Jun bolts inside. An idea sparks in his mind, brilliant and unconventional. He thanks his luck, muttering that fortune hasn't left him yet. Recalling that crows are drawn to shiny objects, Seo Jun decides to exploit this instinct. Rummaging through his house, Seo Jun finds a ladder and secures a small mirror to it, tying it tightly to ensure it stays in place. With the ladder in hand, Seo Jun returns to his balcony, carefully lowering the reflective surface into view, hoping to catch the beast's attention. Since crows are drawn to shiny objects, Seo Jun's plan hinges on the idea that the crow-like beast will be attracted to him. And it works. The moment the crow-like beast spots the mirror, its full attention locks onto Seo Jun. It immediately turns, lets out a grotesque roar, spreads its gaping jaws wide, and flies straight toward him. Seo Jun smirks in satisfaction. His plan succeeded. But that smirk quickly fades. Disappointment sets in as Seo Jun realizes the beast isn't as mindless as a typical crow. Rather than crashing into his barrier and killing itself, the creature stops just short of the window. It hovers there, glaring at Seo Jun through the barrier, clearly more cunning than he anticipated. To Seo Jun's astonishment, the beast begins vocalizing in its own language. Its piercing gaze and unnerving behavior make it clear the beast is hungry, and Seo Jun is the prey it desires. Seo Jun quickly realizes he's facing a new dilemma. If the beast refuses to harm itself against the barrier, how will he manage to kill it? Before he can react, the creature flaps its massive wings. The force of the gust creates a pressure so intense that Seo Jun struggles to stand his ground, bracing himself against the wind. His eyes narrow to slits as he fights to maintain his stance. When the wind dies down, a brief fog settles. But as it clears, the beast is nowhere in sight. Seo Jun's heart pounds. Did the creature leave? He steps cautiously onto the balcony, peering over the edge in search of any sign of the monster. Then a sinking feeling overwhelms him. The beast hasn't left, it's perched above his balcony, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The crow-like beast watches with predatory patience, saliva dripping from its grotesque jaws. As it inches closer to devouring Seo-jun, fear grips him. Though the barrier protects him, the thought of being face-to-face with such a revolting creature unsettles him deeply. The beast slams its head into the barrier, attempting to break through. The system immediately alerts Seo-jun that an unauthorized entity is trying to breach. While the barrier holds strong, the relentless attacks grow more ferocious, each impact echoing with dangerous intensity. Seo-jun knows the barrier will likely endure, but the possibility of it failing sends chills through him. If the beast manages to break in, Seo-jun knows he'll be in grave danger. Determined to act quickly, Seo-jun opens his ultimate shut-in store. He reflects on his loot calculation skill, remembering it only activates when a monster dies within the barrier. If a creature's corpse falls outside the barrier, or if it escapes before dying, Seo-jun forfeits the loot entirely. Seo-jun recalls past battles, frustrated by the rewards he lost when goblins died or were dragged outside the barrier. This time he knows there's no room for error. The crow-like beast must die within the barrier and remain there for the loot to register. Seo-jun understands the risk of injuring the creature without killing it outright. Throwing household items, a TV, a fridge, or even multiple dumbbells, might hurt the beast, but it could still escape. If that happens, Seo-jun loses the chance to loot it, and the creature might return stronger. Agitated, Seo-jun's mind races for a new solution. The crow-like beast continues its relentless assault. Against the barrier, each attack louder than the last. Time is running out. Seo-jun's eyes drift to the list of items in his ultimate shut-in store, and a single item catches his attention: canola oil. In that instant, an idea sparks. Seo-jun quickly purchases 20 bottles of canola oil. As the purchase finalizes, the bottles materialize before him, their formation resembling a 3D printing process. Even though Seo-jun has witnessed this countless times, the sight still fills him with awe. Once all the bottles are ready, Seo-jun gathers them and rushes to the kitchen. Without hesitation, he grabs a saucepan and begins heating the canola oil. While the oil heats, Seo-jun twists a white t-shirt tightly around a stick, dipping it into the oil until it's completely soaked. Setting the oil-soaked shirt aside, Seo-jun carefully stores the remaining bottles. Back in his ultimate shut-in store, now prepared, Seo-jun grabs a lighter, igniting the oil-soaked t-shirt. The fabric bursts into flames, transforming into a makeshift torch. Torch in hand, Seo-jun bolts toward his balcony, ready to confront the crow-like beast. As he steps onto the balcony, Seo-jun spots the crow-like beast still lurking, its grotesque mouth slightly ajar, drool dripping in anticipation. The creature waits for Seo-jun to come closer, ready to strike. Seo-jun tightens his grip on the flaming torch, his mind racing with determination. Closing his eyes, he envisions the boiling canola oil splashing down onto the beast's monstrous head. With a sharp command, he summons the oil. It cascades down in a fiery splash, coating the crow beast's body. The result is instantaneous. The beast shrieks in agony as the searing heat sets its body ablaze. The flames spread quickly, consuming the creature from head to toe. But Seo-jun doesn't stop there. With a swift motion, he hurls the torch directly onto the beast, intensifying the fire. Within seconds, the beast is fully engulfed in flames, its cries echoing through the air. As it struggles in vain to escape, its wings ignite, rendering it powerless as it collapses with a deafening thud. Still ablaze, Seo-jun stands on the balcony, watching as the beast burns to ash. The stench of charred flesh fills the air, causing him to grimace in disgust. After several agonizing minutes, the beast finally succumbs. A system notification flashes before Seo-jun. You have defeated a level 27 Kalkan beast. The message continues. You have gained significant experience points. Seo-jun levels up multiple times, his skills improving dramatically. Another notification follows, informing him that he has unlocked a new skill. As the loot calculation completes, Seo-jun is rewarded with 9.3 million won, transferred instantly into his ultimate shut-in wallet. Stunned, Seo-jun stares at the screen, barely able to believe his eyes. Before he can fully process his windfall, the system announces that all conditions for a territory expansion have been met. The ground beneath Seo Jun begins to quake. He struggles to keep his balance, his vision blurring as intense pain courses through his body. Seo Jun's senses heighten suddenly, his vision shifting to monochrome. He becomes hyper-aware of every detail around him, able to perceive even the tiniest movements, like an ant crawling nearby. Information floods his mind at an overwhelming pace. His awareness expands until he detects something unexpected. A family, father, mother, and 2 children, huddled together in a dark room. Confused, Seo Jun realizes they are his neighbors. The scene shifts. Seo Jun stands in place, gripping his head, as waves of information overwhelm him. His blackened eyes scan his surroundings, revealing every event within his expanded territory. Finally, the tension becomes unbearable. Seo Jun deactivates his heightened vision, causing the black fog in his eyes to disperse in a shockwave across the room. In that moment, he unlocks a new skill, Domain Expansion X-ray Vision. Already in possession of his ultimate barrier, Seo Jun now gains the ability to see everything happening within his expanded territory. Shaken by the experience, Seo Jun bursts into laughter, a mix of disbelief and shock. Information about his neighbors floods in. Choi Yoon, a 30-year-old man, his wife Park Hyun, also 30, and their 2 children ages 6 and 3. The system notifies Seo Jun that these 4 individuals meet the criteria to become citizens of his barrier. It asks if he wishes to grant them citizenship. Seo Jun hesitates. He doesn't fully understand what granting citizenship entails, or what will happen if he refuses. The system explains that without citizenship, the family will be forced to leave the barrier, leaving them defenseless against the monsters outside. Realizing the stakes, Seo Jun decides without hesitation. He grants citizenship to all 4. The system registers their status, and a new skill becomes active. Ultimate All-Seeing Eyes Level 1. This new ability allows Seo Jun to view every corner of his barrier, as if watching a live feed. A new icon appears in his system menu, Citizenship Management. When Seo Jun clicks it, the names of the family members appear, marking them as the first citizens of his expanded territory. The system provides a detailed breakdown. The husband is at level 9, the wife is at level 5, and the children are at levels 2 and 3. Additionally, their trust levels are displayed. The husband's trust stands at 24, the wife's at 18, while the children's trust levels are 32 and 42 respectively. What truly catches Seo Jun off guard, however, is the current population capacity. The system reveals that Seo Jun's citizenship skill can accommodate 600 people, but only 4 are currently registered. This realization leaves Seo Jun stunned. He now possesses the potential to bring in hundreds of citizens under his barrier, yet he doesn't fully grasp the advantages of granting citizenship just yet. Curiosity drives him to explore further. When he selects the husband's profile, a new window opens, displaying additional information. Choi Yoon's awakening ability is listed as none. His experience distribution rate is 0%, and his money distribution rate is also 0%. The system also reveals that Seo Jun can adjust these rates, assign quests, and even expel him from the barrier if necessary. Seo Jun pauses, considering these details. A theory begins to take shape in his mind. He speculates that these options indicate he can control how much experience and earnings he receives from any future monsters his citizens defeat. If his hunch is correct, Seo Jun could earn experience and wealth passively, without ever leaving his home. The citizens would handle the battles, while he reaped the rewards. A smirk creeps onto Seo Jun's face as he envisions the possibilities. The potential of this new skill excites him, opening doors to opportunities he hadn't considered. Exploring further, Seo Jun notices a gift quest icon within Choi Yoon's system window. When he clicks it, a menu appears allowing him to create quests for his citizens. In this moment, Seo Jun realizes he's not just using a system, he is the system. He is now the administrator of his domain. Deciding to test this feature, Seo Jun drafts a quest for the husband. Objective: kill a goblin within 168 hours. Reward: a modest amount of XP. Penalty: none. However, Seo Jun's curiosity gets the better of him. What if the penalty could be edited? How extreme could it be? Tentatively, he types death as the penalty for failure. To his astonishment, the system accepts it. The weight of this revelation hits him. By simply assigning a quest, Seo-jun holds the power to end a citizen's life. Horrified, he immediately cancels the quest. The implications of such authority are immense. Seo-jun sits down deep in thought. With this unparalleled ability, what could he achieve? How should he wield this power? For a long time, Seo-jun contemplates his next steps. Eventually, Seo-jun activates his domain expansion, all-seeing eyes, to observe the family. His vision sharpens, turning black as he focuses. Through this enhanced sight, he peers into their room. The scene shifts to the family. From now on, the husband will be referred to as Fatty. Fatty's wife, visibly distressed, asks him what they should do. They are running low on food and water. And without electricity, survival seems bleak. The youngest daughter tugs weakly at her mother's sleeve, whispering that she's thirsty, her lips dry and trembling. Fatty looks between his children, the weight of their suffering crushing him. If it were just him, he could endure it. But watching his daughters go hungry and thirsty is unbearable. Fatty knows he must take action. The nearby supermarket is their only chance, but venturing outside is a gamble that could cost him his life. His wife's anxious gaze reflects her fear of the risks. The room is silent, the oppressive weight of despair hanging over them. Watching this unfold, Seo-jun feels the emotional burden. Unable to watch further, he deactivates his skill. The vision fades, but the heaviness of what he witnessed lingers. Turning to his system notifications, Seo-jun searches for a solution. Navigating to the ultimate shut-in store, he discovers an upgrade section. Noticing he has 3 upgrade points available, Seo-jun immediately decides to act. First, he upgrades the ultimate shut-in store to level 2. A flash of light signals the enhancement, doubling his storage capacity from 10 to 20 items, and granting a 10% discount on purchases. Thinking strategically, Seo-jun upgrades the store again to level 3, and raises his dignity preservation skill to level 2. With another burst of light, his upgrades are complete. Now, Seo-jun can store a larger inventory, and provide essential utilities like electricity to the family. He realizes this move is crucial. Extending these resources will build the family's trust in him. This trust, Seo-jun knows, will be vital for leveraging them in his future plans. Seo-jun's lips curl into a faint smile. He feels a shift in the dynamic. The sheer magnitude of his newfound control is no longer just powerful. It feels boundless. But that's not the end of it. Reaching level 3 unlocks a new ability, the power to restore any destroyed items, stored within the ultimate shut-in store. Upon noticing this feature, Seo-jun closes his eyes momentarily, then opens them, laughter bubbling up from within. This skill is incredibly potent. As he chuckles, Seo-jun realizes that upgrading the ultimate shut-in store to level 3 was absolutely the right choice. His mind drifts to the leftover food and broken items scattered around his house. If he stores them in the system, they'll be restored to their original state. The thought fills him with excitement. Wasting no time, Seo-jun opens the ultimate shut-in store and begins purchasing large amounts of food and water. Afterward, he turns his attention to his dignity preservation skill, upgrading it to level 2. Immediately, a system notification informs him that he has unlocked a new feature, the ability to register vessels. Puzzled, Seo-jun attempts to understand what vessels are, but the system offers no additional details. He decides to investigate it later. For now, his focus shifts to the family. The scene changes, revealing Fatty preparing a bag for his journey outside to fetch water. His wife and daughters watch him with fear and sadness, their faces etched with worry. Kneeling beside his daughters, Fatty places his hands gently on their heads, telling them to be good girls and listen to their mother while he's gone. Though they try to be brave, the girls tell their father to be careful and beg him to come back safely. Fatty pats their heads reassuringly, promising he will return. But deep down he knows the truth. Going outside might mean he never comes back. His youngest daughter begins to cry, fearful of the monsters lurking outside. A flashback takes the scene to 3 days ago. On a bright, golden morning, the sun was shining as Fatty's daughters played happily in the park. The peace shattered when a horde of goblins appeared, causing chaos and carnage. The goblins attacked mercilessly, devouring other children as Fatty's parents heroically grabbed their grandchildren and ran for safety. The traumatic memory remains vivid, haunting the children and filling them with dread. Back in the present, the girls cry harder, terrified that their father will face the same fate as the others. Fatty's wife attempts to console them, though her own fear is evident. Despite the dangers, Fatty insists he must go, his resolve unwavering. Suddenly, a knock on the door startles everyone. The sound sends a jolt of fear through the family. Fatty grabs a baseball bat from his bag, his heart racing. From the other side of the door, a deep, unsettling voice asks if anyone is inside. Fatty tightens his grip on the bat, his mind racing with the possibility that it could be a monster pretending to be human. His wife holds their daughters close, covering their mouths to keep them quiet. The knocking continues, and Fatty cautiously approaches the door, bracing himself for the worst. With a loud crash, the door bursts open. Fatty instinctively retreats, placing himself between the intruder and his family. Tears stream down his face as he clutches his daughters, vowing to protect them no matter what. But then a calm and warm voice interrupts the tension. The figure standing in the doorway isn't a monster, it's a man. The stranger introduces himself as Seo Jun, explaining that he lives next door and has brought food and water for the family. He asks if they can talk. Fatty is stunned, his wife wary yet unable to sense immediate danger. Though Fatty has lived in the building for years, he's never seen Seo Jun before. Still, something about Seo Jun feels genuine. After a moment of hesitation, Fatty decides to trust him. The scene shifts again, showing Fatty's daughters hiding behind him, their distrustful eyes fixed on Seo Jun. Meanwhile, Fatty, his wife, and their children sit together at a table with Seo Jun. Seo Jun peels an orange, pondering how to ease the tension in the room. As he observes their barren surroundings, no food, no water, no electricity, he acknowledges their dire situation. The tightly closed curtains signal their attempts to remain unnoticed by the monsters outside. Seo Jun silently commends their caution, deciding to act. He focuses on the room's ceiling light. His eyes glow a vivid blue, and with a blink, the light flickers to life. Fatty stares at the illuminated room, confused by the sudden change. Before he can question it, Seo Jun slides a bottle of water across the table, gesturing for Fatty to give it to his daughters first. Fatty nods, handing the bottle to his children. The girls grab it eagerly, drinking quickly to quench their thirst. The children drink deeply, cherishing every sip. To them, the water tastes exceptionally sweet and refreshing. Seo Jun watches them intently, a faint smile playing on his lips. The youngest child, Seo Hyun, drinks so eagerly that she nearly chokes on the water. Noticing this, Seo Jun quickly offers her an orange. Seo Hyun hesitates, still a bit cautious, but eventually reaches out and takes the orange hesitantly. As soon as she peels a small section of the orange, the sweet and tangy aroma fills the room. The scent is so tempting that Seo Hyun's mouth starts watering. She carries the orange to her mother and softly asks her to peel it for her. Her mother peels off a segment and gently feeds it to Seo Hyun. The moment the orange touches her tongue, Seo Hyun's eyes light up with joy. It's so sweet and juicy, almost like it melts in her mouth. Her delight is contagious, and the once tense atmosphere begins to relax. Seeing her younger sister enjoying the orange, Na-yoon, the older child, starts to drool and eagerly asks her mom for a piece as well. Fatty's wife smiles and peels another segment, feeding it to Na-yoon. As Na-yoon bites into the orange, her expression mirrors her sister's joy. The fruit is delicious beyond words. Soon, the children's laughter fills the room, melting away the lingering tension and replacing it with a newfound warmth. Watching the family's happiness, Seo Jun notices a system notification appear in front of him. It reveals that Fatty's wife and husband now trust Seo Jun more than before. Even more surprising, Seo Hyun's trust level has surpassed 50. Seo Jun's overall trust level has now climbed to 57, making Seo Hyun eligible to become a vessel. This notification takes Seo Jun by surprise, although he still doesn't completely understand what it means to make someone a vessel. One thing is clear to him. He refuses to make a 3-year-old child his vessel. As he thinks further, Seo Jun considers Fatty's trust level. If Fatty's trust exceeds 50, then perhaps Seo Jun could make him a vessel instead. However, he quickly recalls a key limitation. At his current level, he can only have up to 10 vessels at any given time. This restriction means Seo Jun must choose carefully. Seo Jun leans back, his mind racing. His new ability opens countless opportunities, but with great power comes even greater decisions. He knows he needs to tread cautiously moving forward. Seo Jun begins brainstorming ways to increase Fatty's trust level, which currently sits at only 31. He's lost in thought when Fatty suddenly clears his throat, interrupting Seo Jun's concentration. With a sincere tone, Fatty thanks Seo Jun deeply. He admits that Seo Jun has no idea how relieved and grateful he feels to have received food and water for his family. Fatty then asks how he can possibly repay Seo Jun's generosity. Seo Jun responds calmly, suggesting they step outside to talk further. The scene shifts to the corridor, where Fatty and Seo Jun now stand face to face. Seo Jun starts by asking if Fatty received a system notification, a citizenship notification specifically. Fatty nods, explaining that not only he, but his entire family received the notification about 30 minutes ago. Seo Jun probes further, asking if anything unusual happened when the notification appeared. Fatty explains that, for a brief moment, none of them could move, they were completely frozen. The experience had terrified them, but after a short while, they regained control of their bodies. Hearing this, Seo Jun's expression turns serious. He realizes something crucial. If he hadn't granted citizenship to Fatty and his family in time, they would have been teleported out of the building. This realization makes Seo Jun's tone more determined and confident. He tells Fatty that if he agrees to help, Seo Jun will provide food, water, shelter, electricity, and most importantly, safety. Seo Jun assures him that no monster will be able to harm them. Their protection will be guaranteed. Fatty looks stunned by this bold promise. He hesitates and asks how such a thing could even be possible. Seo Jun doesn't explain further. Instead, he firmly states that if Fatty wants all of these benefits, he must trust Seo Jun completely and without question. Seo Jun also promises that he would never ask Fatty to do anything that would endanger his life. Fatty closes his eyes, trying to listen to his gut instinct. Despite everything, his intuition tells him Seo Jun is not a bad person. However, Fatty raises an important question. Nothing in this world is free. So what does Seo Jun want in return? Seo Jun responds calmly, explaining that he doesn't need anything material. He only wants Fatty to do something small for him. Relieved by this response, Fatty, who had feared Seo Jun might demand something dangerous, feels his trust growing. He even smiles warmly and calls Seo Jun brother. Seo Jun acknowledges the gesture with a slight smile. Shifting the topic, Seo Jun points to the golf club Fatty was holding earlier and asks about its value. Fatty looks puzzled, wondering why Seo Jun would ask about the price of a golf club when Fatty reveals its high value. Seo Jun seems momentarily taken aback. He quickly realizes that the golf club would be too expensive to list in his store. Deciding to set the topic aside for now, Seo Jun tells Fatty they can discuss it later. Changing the subject, Seo Jun asks Fatty if he remembers when the apocalypse began. Fatty recalls it vividly. It was a weekend when he took his daughters to the park to play. That was when the goblins suddenly appeared, marking the start of the chaos. Fatty recounts how terrifying that day was, confirming that it was the moment the apocalypse began. Seo Jun pieces together the sequence of events, recalling that on that fateful day, he had been lounging in his room like a true recluse. He reasons that those who stayed indoors that day might have been spared from the initial wave of destruction. Seo Jun reflects on the nature of goblins. Individually, they aren't particularly dangerous, but in large groups they become a deadly menace. He considers his ability to grant citizenship, and concludes that it will be essential for survival in this apocalyptic world. Finally, Seo Jun gives Fatty a clear and direct command. Find survivors and bring them to this building. The scene shifts to Seo Jun reclining comfortably on his sofa, his eyes fixed on a system notification. He observes with satisfaction as Fatty's trust level steadily climbs. It has reached 40, but Seo Jun is eager for it to hit 50 soon. Lost in thought, Seo Jun wonders when he will be able to level up and finally leave the safety of his barrier to reunite with his family. He speculates whether continuously granting citizenship and gaining levels will eventually lead him back to them. As he contemplates, a sudden, piercing sound startles him. Seo Jun immediately recognizes the groan of a zombie, but alongside it, he hears an unfamiliar noise that catches him off guard. Rushing to his window, Seo Jun looks outside. His eyes widen as he spots the source. A group of 6 or 7 people, fighting against a horde of goblins. For a moment, Seo Jun feels a pang of unease. He watches the chaotic battle, and quickly concludes that the group won't survive the encounter. The goblins will overrun them. Seo-jun notices that the group is too far from his building, meaning he can't use his summoning ability to drop weights on the goblins. Panic starts to set in. But to his surprise, one of the fighters, a teenager, throws a baseball with incredible speed and precision. The ball flies like a bullet, striking a goblin dead. Another teenager, dressed in a purple tracksuit, steps forward with a bow and arrow. She launches 2 arrows simultaneously, both hitting their marks. 2 more goblins fall lifeless to the ground. Finally, a third teenager with a solid muscular build enters the fray. Armed with a baseball bat, he leaps high into the air and smashes a goblin's head. With a resounding crack, this boy, with his commanding aura, exudes the energy of a main character. He appears to be the leader of the group. The remaining goblins, sensing the danger, turn and flee. Suddenly, a sharp noise startles the girl in the tracksuit. She spins around thinking a goblin is behind her, but instead she finds a packet of ramen lying on the ground. Confused, she picks it up and wonders where it came from. Just then, another strange sound grabs her attention. Looking up, she spots a shadowy figure. On top of the building, it's Seo-jun. He's waving, trying to signal the group to enter his building. The girl looks puzzled, uncertain of the strange man's intentions. But Seo-jun is determined, gesturing persistently to invite them in. At that moment, a knock interrupts Seo-jun's focus. Turning around, he finds Fatty at his door. Seo-jun calls him in, but when Fatty tries to step into the room, a system notification blocks him. The notification states that Fatty is not authorized to enter. This revelation surprises Seo-jun. It confirms that no one can enter his room, even with his permission. He wonders if vessels might have the ability to enter, but decides to ponder this later. Stepping outside his room, Seo-jun checks the weapons box. He instructs Fatty to gather cheap, everyday items from his home that could serve as weapons. After inspecting the items, Seo-jun opens his ultimate shut-in store. He summons 5 packets of ramen and 5 bottles of water. The items materialize in seconds, appearing before Fatty as if by magic. Fatty's eyes widen in amazement, witnessing Seo-jun's powers for the first time. Seo-jun calmly places the food and water into a box and hands it to Fatty. He then gives Fatty his next mission: deliver the box outside the building. Fatty hesitates, his face filled with worry. He reminds Seo-jun about the goblins lurking outside. Seo-jun reassures him with confidence, claiming that he has already eliminated all nearby threats. Reluctantly, Fatty agrees. Seo-jun explains how valuable food has become, noting that even a single packet of noodles now sells for millions of won. Seo-jun reveals his ultimate plan. By distributing food to the awakened hunters outside, he will position himself as their leader. Seo-jun smirks inwardly, knowing he's following Lilith's slavery technique. By offering food and water, those who accept will become his loyal followers. Fatty, trusting Seo-jun completely, sets off with the box. As he heads downstairs, he grips a golf club tightly for protection. The moment he steps outside, a wave of fear washes over him. His only thought: drop the box and run back as fast as possible. As Fatty leans down to place the box on the ground, he hears the sound of approaching footsteps. His body freezes, trembling with fear. Out of the corner of his eye, he catches sight of a dark shadow to his left. Panic overtakes him. In his mind, it must be a bloodthirsty goblin, ready to attack. With his heart racing, Fatty tries to retreat toward the safety of the building, but his foot slips, sending the box of food and water tumbling to the ground, its contents scattering everywhere. Fatty collapses, paralyzed by terror. His face turns crimson, and his breathing becomes erratic. The footsteps grow louder, drawing closer. Tears fill his eyes as Fatty begins to beg for mercy, pleading with the imagined goblins to spare his life. Summoning the courage to open his eyes, he's shocked to see there are no goblins. Instead, a group of teenagers and students stands before him, all looking at him with a mix of surprise and confusion. But why the hell does that baseball bat kid look like Toji? The scene shifts, and the system notifies Seo-jun that an unauthorized individual is attempting to access the building. Instantly, Seo-jun realizes that the group of 6 or 7 people he saw earlier is now trying to enter. Closing his eyes, Seo-jun activates his ultimate all-seeing visionary ability. Through his enhanced vision, he sees the teenagers gathered at the door. Among them, the girl in the purple tracksuit. remarks to her friends that this is the same apartment where a strange boy had thrown ramen earlier. The boy holding the baseball bat comments, "If someone's throwing ramen like that, they must have plenty of food." Seo-jun decides to nickname him Toji for simplicity. Deactivating his visionary ability, Seo-jun attempts to grant them citizenship. However, the system interrupts with a notification. Beings meeting the criteria for citizenship are approaching. Do you wish to propose citizenship? The word propose gives Seo-jun pause. He realizes that a proposal means the group can either accept or reject the offer. This possibility troubles him. A refusal would disrupt his plans to grow his citizen base. Feeling slightly annoyed, Seo-jun knows he must devise a strategy to ensure they accept. Just then, Fatty contacts Seo-jun through the building's CCTV system. Hearing his voice, Seo-jun suddenly has a brilliant idea. Seo-jun updates Fatty's quest, assigning him a new mission. Feed the teenagers, provide warm clothes, and offer them a hot bath. Treat them like VIPs. Fatty eagerly accepts the quest and approaches the group outside the barrier. He informs them that if they accept Seo-jun's proposal, they will receive free food and water. Tempted by the promise of sustenance, the teenagers quickly agree. Seo-jun sends the proposal, and once they accept, the barrier opens, granting them access to the apartment. The system promptly notifies Seo-jun. Citizen count has increased by 10%. XP and gold earned by citizens will now increase by 10%. Pleased with this buff, Seo-jun carefully examines the newcomers' profiles. The highest level teenager among them is identified as Han Dong, the same boy Seo-jun had observed earlier, using a baseball to kill a goblin. Curious, Seo-jun opens Han Dong's status window and discovers that his awakened ability, Baseball Throw, is ranked D but possesses deadly potential. This skill amplifies Han Dong's strength, allowing him to throw objects with 10 times their usual force. Seo-jun quickly realizes the destructive capability of this power. At high speeds, Han Dong's throws could rival cannon fire. Concluding that all the teenagers are metahumans, Seo-jun decides to set their XP distribution rate at 70%. The teenagers will retain 70% of the experience points earned, while Seo-jun takes 30%. Satisfied with this arrangement, Seo-jun begins strategizing. He envisions these new citizens as an auto-hunting team. While they fight and gain XP, Seo-jun will grow stronger and wealthier, all without lifting a finger. The realization excites Seo-jun. He feels as though he's living in a real-life auto-hunting game. Meanwhile, trust among the teenagers is already growing without much effort on Seo-jun's part. Puzzled by their sudden loyalty, Seo-jun decides to observe them further. The scene shifts to Fatty, who has welcomed the group into his apartment. Fatty's wife, seeing the strangers, is understandably confused. Though hesitant, she listens to Fatty's explanation. Apologizing for the inconvenience, Fatty requests her help to prepare food for the group. Reluctantly, she agrees, quietly deciding to trust him for now. Seo-jun watches through his ultimate vision, pleased with how smoothly everything is progressing. The foundation of trust is being laid, and Seo-jun feels confident that this is just the beginning of something bigger. Later, Han Dong asks Fatty about Seo-jun's character. Fatty admits that even he doesn't know much about Seo-jun, leaving the group intrigued and slightly unsettled. Fatty explains that he only recently met Seo-jun and knows him as a neighbor. He describes Seo-jun as an odd person but emphasizes one key trait. Seo-jun is kind-hearted and always willing to help. Fatty mentions that, thanks to Seo-jun, he now has access to electricity, water, and food. Hearing this, Han Dong feels a twinge of concern. His eyes drift to his jacket, where the ramen packet Seo-jun gave them is tucked away. Han Dong concludes that Seo-jun must be an exceptionally powerful and dangerous metahuman. Silently, he resolves to gain Seo-jun's favor at all costs. His trust in Seo-jun deepens, believing that anyone with the power to supply electricity and food must be an extraordinary being. Han Dong knows better than to risk angering someone like that. Meanwhile, Fatty turns to the two girls in Han Dong's group and asks if they'd like to take a shower while the food is being prepared. The mere mention of a shower makes their eyes light up. It's been 3 days since they last bathed, and they are acutely aware of their unkempt state. The thought of a shower fills them with excitement. Han Dong is caught off guard by the suggestion. He quickly realizes that if the apartment has electricity, the showers must be operational. Fatty confirms this with a grin, adding that there's even hot water. The girls gape in amazement. Fatty elaborates that the hot water is also thanks to Seo Jun's abilities. At that moment, one of the girls jokes. Seo Jun isn't just a neighbor. He's like our electrician, plumber, and water provider rolled into one. He's basically our all-purpose god, Joni bro. The group laughs, agreeing that Seo Jun seems like a jack-of-all-trades deity right now. As the group chats, a teenager with glasses approaches Han Dong and smugly asks if he thinks he's stronger than Seo Jun. Han Dong shakes his head, admitting that based on Seo Jun's abilities, it's unlikely anyone in their group could surpass him. Suddenly, Toji places a hand on Han Dong's shoulder and proposes a wild idea. They should team up to take Seo Jun down. Toji argues with twisted logic that overpowering Seo Jun would force him to surrender all his resources. Han Dong bristles with irritation. He calls Toji insane, insisting that instead of antagonizing Seo Jun, they should focus on earning his trust. Han Dong firmly asks Toji to abandon any reckless plans. Reluctantly, the group agrees that their best option is to impress Seo Jun. The scene shifts to a frail, sad-looking boy, whose name is initially unknown. Han Dong walks over and introduces him as Ba Yu Jian. Apologizing, Han Dong acknowledges that Ba Yu Jian's sorrow might be linked to his own past actions. Han Dong recounts how, during a housewarming party, he invited all his friends over, including Ba Yu Jian. That was the exact moment the apocalypse began. Ba Yu Jian's grandmother, his only remaining family member, was left behind at his house. This explains Ba Yu Jian's deep sadness. Ba Yu Jian quietly responds, saying he had no choice but to attend the party, and doesn't blame Han Dong. However, the pain remains evident on his face. Han Dong assures the group that, after eating, they'll devise a plan to rescue Ba Yu Jian's grandmother. But inwardly, Ba Yu Jian fears the worst. He worries that his grandmother may already be dead, a victim of the goblins. As the group brainstorms rescue strategies, the door creaks open. The tension in the room skyrockets. Han Dong instinctively grabs his baseball bat, certain a goblin has entered. But instead of a goblin, Seo Jun steps in, carrying 2 black bags. He's dressed simply in a t-shirt and shorts, yet the group feels an overwhelming aura of power emanating from him. In that instant, Han Dong realizes that Seo Jun is their only hope to solve all their problems. Seo Jun steps forward, his face serious, and scans the group. Without hesitation, he declares with confidence, "I will help you."
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, it really helps. And for more content like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see another part. I'd love to hear your thoughts. See you next time. Bye-bye.